There is a moment that happens in every room, every conversation, every first encounter, a moment that most men never even notice because they are too busy thinking about what they are going to say next. It happens in the space between when you walk in and when you speak. It happens in the silence before the first word. It happens in the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way your eyes move across the room. And in that moment, before your mouth has opened, before you have said a single thing, the people around you have already made a decision about who you are. They have already decided whether you are someone to respect or someone to dismiss, someone to trust or someone to watch carefully, someone who belongs or someone who is trying to belong. Most men think aura is something you either have or you do not. They think it is a gift, a natural charisma that some people are born with and others are not. They are wrong. Aura is not a vibe. It is not a mystery. It is a verdict. It is the conclusion that other people reach about you based on the signals your entire system broadcasts before you speak a single word. And here is the truth that changes everything. That verdict is not fixed. It is not determined by genetics or luck or some accident of birth. It is determined by a set of choices that you make every single day. Choices about how you carry yourself, how you use silence, how you manage your energy, and most importantly, who you decide to become. Most men talk too much. They fill every silence. They explain every decision. They justify every choice. And every word they add makes them smaller. This is not an opinion. It is neuroscience. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, interprets silence as danger. When you feel the pressure of a pause, when the room goes quiet and all eyes turn to you, your amygdala triggers a fight-or-flight response that pushes you to talk your way out of discomfort. You rush to fill the space with words, any words, because silence feels like exposure. But men with powerful auras have learned to override that signal. They have trained themselves to sit in the silence, to hold the space, to let the pause breathe. And in that stillness, they communicate something far more powerful than any words could convey. They communicate that they are not afraid. They communicate that they are comfortable in their own presence. They communicate that they do not need to perform for anyone's approval. The philosopher Martin Heidegger, who wrote extensively about the nature of being, observed that human beings are characterized by their capacity to be present to themselves and to others. When you can be present in silence, you are demonstrating that you are not running from yourself. And that presence, that stillness, is the foundation of a powerful aura. Research by Albert Mehrabian, a pioneer in the study of nonverbal communication, shows that when your words and your body language conflict, people trust the nonverbal signal almost every time. Your presence speaks louder than your vocabulary. Silence communicates more than most men say in an hour. When someone challenges you, say nothing. When someone asks a question that does not deserve an answer, say nothing. When the room is waiting for you to react, do not react. That pause, that stillness, that refusal to perform, that is the aura people feel before they can explain why. The man who controls his silence controls the room. Consider a practical scenario. You are in a meeting, and someone makes a passive-aggressive comment aimed at you. The insecure man rushes to defend himself, explaining his position, justifying his actions. The grounded man pauses. He looks at the person who made the comment. He holds the silence for a moment. Then he simply moves on, as if the comment was not worth his energy. That pause, that refusal to engage with provocation, communicates more than any defense ever could. It says, I am not threatened by you. Your opinion does not define me. And everyone in the room feels it. But silence alone is not enough if what people see contradicts it. You have 7 seconds. That is how long Princeton psychologists Janine Willis and Alexander Todorov found it takes for people to form a complete first impression of you. Not 7 minutes. 7 seconds. And in those 7 seconds, your words are completely irrelevant. What speaks is your grooming, your posture, your eye contact, and the intentionality behind how you carry yourself. Harvard Business School professor Amy Cuddy found that people make 2 snap judgments simultaneously. Can I trust this person? Can I respect this person? These judgments are formed before your mouth opens. Your appearance is not vanity. It is communication. Clean hair, maintained skin, clothes that fit, not just clothes that exist. Posture that says, I know exactly where I am and why I am here. eye contact that does not flinch. When all of these align, the brain of the person across from you reads a single signal. This man has standards, and standards are the foundation of every powerful aura. Your appearance communicates who you are at a frequency most men never consciously broadcast. Start broadcasting. Imagine walking into a networking event. You are wearing clothes that fit well, not necessarily expensive, but intentional. Your posture is open and grounded, shoulders back, head level. You make eye contact with people as you enter, not staring, but acknowledging. You do not rush to speak. You do not fidget with your phone. You are simply present. Within 7 seconds, the people in that room have already formed an impression of you. They do not know your job title or your accomplishments, but they know something about you. They know you are someone who takes yourself seriously, and that is the first step to being taken seriously by others. This is one of the most underrated aura destroyers. Every time you explain yourself without being asked, you shrink. Here is the psychology. Dr. Robert Cialdini's research on social influence shows that justification increases compliance. When you explain yourself, you are essentially asking for the other person's approval. And the moment you seek approval, you have handed them the power. People with powerful auras make decisions and move. They do not announce them. They do not apologize for them. They do not over-explain them. This is not arrogance. It is self-trust. There is also a neurological dimension. Mirror neurons, discovered by neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti at the University of Parma, are part of the brain's social circuitry. When you watch a calm, self-assured man who needs no validation, your brain's social circuitry registers that calm as safe, as trustworthy, as powerful. That is why composed men are felt before they are understood. Stop explaining. Start deciding. Imagine a situation where you make a choice that someone questions. Maybe you decide to leave a job, end a relationship, or take a risk that others do not understand. The insecure man explains himself at length, trying to make others see his reasoning, seeking their validation. The grounded man states his decision simply and moves on. He does not need others to approve because he has already approved of himself. That self-approval is the essence of a powerful aura. Your energy is a resource, and like all resources, it can be wasted. Dr. Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler at Harvard conducted a landmark study on social contagion. Their conclusion: emotions, behaviors, and energy levels spread through social networks like viruses. If you spend your time around people who are anxious, negative, and draining, you will eventually mirror that state. Not consciously, neurologically. Emotional contagion is real. Your nervous system absorbs the emotional frequency of the people closest to you. Men with powerful auras are ruthless about this. Not cruel, ruthless. They choose their environment the way elite athletes choose their training ground, with intention. This does not mean cutting everyone off. It means being selective about who gets access to your presence, your time, and your energy. Because your energy is your aura. Let it drain to the wrong people and your aura dims. Protect it fiercely and it becomes undeniable. Consider your social circle. Who are the people you spend the most time with? Do they lift you up or drain you? Do they challenge you to grow or keep you stuck in old patterns? The grounded man is intentional about his relationships. He invests in people who bring out the best in him and limits his exposure to those who do not. This is not selfishness. It is self-preservation. Your energy is the most valuable resource you have, and how you spend it determines the quality of your life and the strength of your presence. Now we come to the fifth and most powerful point. I told you at the beginning to watch until here. This is why. Because everything you have heard so far is technique. What comes next is identity. I know what this sounds like. It sounds like something soft, something abstract, something you have heard before and dismissed. It is not. This is the most powerful aura-building method that exists, and it is the only one that actually sticks. Here is the science first. Dr. Todd Herman, performance coach and author of The Alter Ego Effect, has worked with Olympic athletes, professional sports stars, and Fortune 500 leaders for over 20 years. His research shows that identity-level change is the only change that lasts. Habit change fails. Motivation fails. Discipline alone fails. But when a man changes who he believes he is, his behavior follows automatically. Psychologist William James at Harvard, considered the father of American psychology, wrote that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes. Modern neuroscience confirms this. When you consistently act from a new identity, you create new neural pathways, new default behaviors, new automatic responses. The brain does not know the difference between who you are and who you consistently choose to be. So here is what you do. Build your alter ego. Think of it like a video game character. You are the player. Your alter ego is the character you are building. Give him a name if you want, but more importantly, define exactly who he is. How does he walk into a room? How does he respond to disrespect? How does he carry himself when no one is watching? What does he wear? How does he speak? What does he tolerate? What does he refuse? Then, for the next 30 days, play him. Every single day. Inside and outside. In the supermarket. In the gym. At work. On a date. Alone in your apartment. This is not pretending. This is practice. And here is the key to making it work, because without this, it will not. Identity shifts need time. They need space. They need awareness. If you do not do this consciously, it slips away. You go back to autopilot, so you make it a game. Men like playing, is not it? And so do you, right? Every week you play your character consistently, you earn a reward. You decide the reward in advance. Week 1, a dinner at a restaurant you actually want to go to. Week 2, a massage. Week 3, a day trip somewhere. Week 4, a date you have been putting off. You are not rewarding yourself for being disciplined. You are rewarding yourself for becoming someone. After 30 days of playing him, you will not be playing anymore. You will just be him. That is when the aura becomes real. Not performed. Not constructed. Just who you are. Imagine a man who has spent his life feeling invisible. He walks into rooms and no one notices him. He speaks and no one listens. He has tried to be more confident, tried to be more assertive, but nothing seems to stick. Then he discovers the alter ego method. He creates a character named, let us say, the Captain. The Captain is calm, decisive, and grounded. He walks slowly. He speaks deliberately. He does not rush to fill silence. He makes eye contact and holds it. For 30 days, this man plays the Captain. At first, it feels strange. He feels like he is acting. But he keeps going. He practices in small moments, ordering coffee, walking into the grocery store, speaking in meetings. By the end of the first week, he notices something. People are responding to him differently. They are making eye contact. They are listening when he speaks. By the end of the second week, the act does not feel so much like an act. By the end of the third week, he is starting to forget that he is playing a character. By the end of the fourth week, he is the Captain. He does not have to think about it anymore. The calm, the decisiveness, the grounded presence, they are not things he does. They are things he is. That is the power of the alter ego. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who wrote extensively about the nature of identity and self-overcoming, observed that we should become who we are. But becoming who you are is not a passive process. It is an active creation. It is a choice you make every day to step into the version of yourself that you want to become. The alter ego method is not about being fake. It is about being intentional. It is about recognizing that who you are today is not who you have to be tomorrow. You have the power to shape your own identity, to build a presence that is felt before you speak. And that presence, that aura, is not a gift. It is a creation. It is something you build day by day, choice by choice. The philosopher Epictetus, one of the great Stoics, taught that we should not seek to have events happen as we wish, but to wish them to happen as they do happen. When you step into your alter ego, you are aligning yourself with reality. You are not fighting against who you are. You are choosing who you will become. And that choice, made over and over again, is what transforms your presence from ordinary to undeniable. Let us bring this all together. The 5 secrets of aura are not separate strategies. They are interconnected. Silence amplifies your presence. Appearance broadcasts your standards. Stopping explanation communicates self-trust. Protecting your energy preserves your power. And the alter ego gives you the identity to sustain it all. When you combine these 5, you become a man who is felt before he is heard, a man who commands respect without demanding it, a man whose presence changes the energy of every room he enters. And that is the ultimate goal. Not to impress, not to perform, but to be. To be the kind of man whose aura is so powerful that people cannot help but notice, not because he is trying to be noticed, but because his presence is undeniable. The philosopher William James wrote that the greatest discovery of any generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes. Your attitude, your identity, your aura, they are not fixed. They are choices. And you can choose differently starting today. If this video gave you a new framework for building your presence, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another insight. And most importantly, share this with a friend who needs to stop explaining himself and start being himself. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these 5 secrets you are going to start applying today. I read every single one. Stay grounded. Stay present. And I will see you right here in the next one.